Hello, everyone. It's really rewarding to see so many of you here in support of all people having a home. I'm Judith. I'm a member of the House of Hope Presbyterian Church in St. Paul and part of the Twin Cities Bring It Home action team. I'm also here to share a little of my family's story and what motivates me to organize with Beacon. Years ago, I saw my mom living on the street. She didn't even see me, but I'll never forget it. I was born in North Carolina, a military brat that spent most of my childhood in southern Minnesota. A sister and brother followed after 4 and 9 years, respectively. My parents both came from troubled families and married very young. Dad was fortunate to have long-term stable employment with a very large company, and my mother was a stay-at-home mom. However, a young marriage soon developed cracks. Neither of my parents had healthy coping skills, and each responded to the challenges in a way for which they'd been groomed. That meant frequent hospital stays for my mother, and for my siblings and I, stays in foster homes. Dad practiced avoidance when he could. I tried my best to protect my siblings from abuse with varying degrees of success. So at age 13, I decided to try something different and stop trying to intervene. I watched my younger siblings lose their way. At 16, I was placed on juvenile probation. The increasing tension between our parents became impossible, and they finally, thankfully, divorced. Dad was given custody of my siblings and me, which was a rare resolution at that time. He struggled with parenting and attempting to maintain a home, while Mom continued her reactionary fight with life and untreated mental illness, and eventually became a resident of public housing. She had ongoing difficulty with behaviors that resulted in eviction from what could have been a stable housing solution. My siblings and I felt powerless to help, and finally the unthinkable became real, and Mom was homeless. I don't know how long she was on the streets. I do know she was able eventually to find housing again, but continued to have difficulty with behavioral issues. Her health and cognition declined to the point that she required skilled care, and she spent her last years in nursing homes. Seeing a family member struggle to maintain stable housing has given me a personal view into the lack of affordable housing that has become so prevalent. And that, along with the lack of wage growth in our state, and now the COVID crisis, leaves so many people on the street. The toll on families, especially children, of unstable housing is devastating. Our system creates so few options for people with low incomes, and even fewer for those with additional struggles like mental health or substance addiction. This has been deeply troubling for me for a long time, as I've become increasingly aware of the connection between homelessness and systemic racism. The disproportionate impacts experienced by our neighbors of color should alarm and activate us all. Last spring, a friend invited me to join the Beacon Housing Work Group at House of Hope Presbyterian Church. I found it to be a dedicated group of people taking meaningful steps to build relationships and support for Beacon's efforts towards all people having a home. Our faith drives us to stay hopeful and to organize. And we know that when we don't organize our people and build power, we're giving our power up to those who don't share our values, those who would rather maintain the status quo and work to build the world as we know it should be. Thank you.